Now bundled in their brand new cozy orange blanket, SJ watches on as their parents wander the market. The small Wataf's vocal capabilities have yet to physically develop enough to attempt speaking the words the adults exchange, though they were picking up on quite a bit of the word meanings. So when the mention of food eventually comes up, SJ squirms eagerly and lightly brushes their head against Chuck's to communicate in the affirmative. The Callie giggles. "Ow, I believe SJ likes that idea," she notifies. Simone, now holding a large bag in one of her hands, smirks tiredly. "Awesome. It might be more expensive, but maybe we can go in somewhere? I'm hankering to sit down," she admits, as she passes the bag to her other hand. "On it," Chuck chirps cheerily, as she opens her lens to look up options. Nodding in appreciation, Simone reaches down towards the Callie's hood to scritch its bundled up passenger, who then playfully dodges and buries himself back into the orange wrapping. "Having fun there, hun?" The redhead chuckles, as she sees one of SJ's eyes peek out. "You little fucking dog." "Found a place and have reserved us a spot. Don't worry, I made certain it was a Terran-accessible place," Chuck reports dutifully. Simone wraps her arm around the goat buck, using the crook in her arm as a scooping support for her stuffed hood. "Lead the way, Bo Peep." "Nontrin, take a look at the goods here," Miki says to her bondmate, her face nearly flush with the clear casing of the products. The other Grat quickly comes up next to Miki to gander at whatever has caught her attention. Within are labelled pouches and metal containers. Before each are minor samples of ingredients and substances for a wide array of uses. Perking in interest, Nodrin walks down the casing expecting everything for sale. "See anything you like?" a significantly elderly female Noxie inquires. She sits in a hovering seat, mittens working away at some sort of puzzle object. Although the Grat's reference of an older Noxie was Vin, this individual in particular has seen many, many more years. Her ear flaps curled and sat, while her forehead's bulbous feature has lost structure, causing it to droop down on her face, nearly covering her beady black eyes. "Much is interesting," Nodrin affirmed. "I am spiritual shaman, practice medicine. Your recommendation?" The senior woman's ear flaps flap with surprising vigor. "Oh, do I? I'm known to go on a few spiritual journeys myself," she informs, as she hovers her seat to a container beside her. Nodrin watches on as she cracks open a well-loved case and pulls out a small wrapped item. "This is an old Terran recipe that I picked up from a trader a few decades back. Me and the lad shared them before we watched the Intergalactic Games, though I like to kick it up a notch with my own additions, but that's just between us," the Noxie deviously says, as she gingerly unwraps the strange parchment to reveal a crumbly, dark brown brick. Nodrin leans in to look it over, but is careful to not touch it. "It is to eat?" they asked. Still not quite sure what it is. "Yes, sir, though I wouldn't recommend eating more than 5 servings in one sitting. They will take you places," the woman clarifies. "I see," Nodrin mumbles, rather intrigued. "What is effect?" "Oh, that's what you'll have to experience for yourself," the woman says coyly. The Grant looks to her and back down at the now ominous brown brick, calculating the risk versus their own immense curiosity. "How much?" they ask. The Noxie cackles knowingly before stashing her mitten at her chin. "Sample is 25 credits, but if you would like the recipe for yourself, then perhaps we can make a different sort of trade. You say you're a shaman, yes? Perhaps if you trade something I've yet to see in all my years in the business, both can be yours," she proposes. Nodrin thinks in it for a moment, then begins to believe that it may not be the best idea. But then they feel Miki placing her head on their shoulder from behind. "Go for it, dearest. I shall keep vigilant over you no matter what," she reassures her bondmate. "Are you certain, love? We are in a strange place, who knows what could happen?" Nodrin replies. "Yes, this is a time for fun and merriment, and I will ensure you remain to have a wonderful time. But cherished, in turn you let me buy another knife in my collection?" Miki responds, before snickering in a chitter. Nodrin blinks, knowing that they should have expected as much. "Very well," they concede, to Miki's appreciating embrace from behind. Wriggling around her arms, Nodrin opens up their satchel and starts to go through all their own stock. It takes a bit while they do their best to reference what Dave has had prescribed in the past to come up with something unique. Settling on something, Nodrin pulls out a tightly wrapped cloth and sets it down next to the brown brick. Unravelling the twine around it, they unroll it to reveal what seems to be strips of curling tree bark. "Oh, is this Terran cinnamon?" the woman inquires, as she pulls out a zooming eye lens to inspect. "No, it's from Grat Homeworld. We call HFY, or spirit sight in GS. Grind into powder, burn for smoke, inhale. Granted visions of spirits, most good," Nodrin explains. "I do already have quite the variety of hallucinogens. Anything else you can offer?" the Noxie requests. Nodding, the Grat rewrapped the bark and sorted through their pack once more. Sleeping sap, calming leaves, invincible oil, sensitive roots, race fungus, dried mating fruit. There. "This is drift shell, good for meditation. Silence mind, open self-enlightenment," Nodrin finally offers. "Also good water creature seasoning if toasted. Make sour sweet. Toasted much reduce effect." The Grat places a bag down and opens it up to at first reveal glistening pearl-coloured sand. But upon a closer inspection, each grain is in truth a spiraling microshell. Having far more interest in this item, the Noxie considers the proposition. "I have to admit, I'm intrigued. Is it a sort of depressant, like Terran ethanol?" she inquires. "No, not make dizzy. Like, good for attention, concentration, but remove extra mind noise. Make sense?" Nodrin attempts to clarify. "I suppose. Well, consider me interested enough. I'll trade the sample and recipe for this drift shell. Agreed?" the woman offers. "Yes, much agree," Nodrin nods, already picking up the sample and inspecting it between their claws. "This is why I love this business. Here you go. Here's a datapad with the original recipe and my own spin on it. Have fun," the Noxie says as she slides over said pad and picks up the bag to place it in a rare container. "Much thanks," the Grat accepts, quickly shoving the pad into their satchel and walking away with Miki by their side. "Come on, dearest, eat it," Miki encourages as she weaves her tail with theirs. Yes, but perhaps I should wait. It may be wise to check the recipe first," Nodrin points out. "No, let it be a surprise, an adventure, like how you would test other things we've come across in our travels. We even have the benefit of having medical care nearby this time," Miki persists, now hopping lightly on her feet. Nodrin gives her a long, blank stare as if to reprimand her for pressuring them. However, with that expression unchanged, they lift the brown cube up and into their maw. Their expression breaks upon sudden, pleasant realization. "Oh, dearest, it's Terran chocolate," they update, while chewing the sweetly delicious food. "But softer like sweet bread. Or Seven's muffins." Now completely jealous of their bondmate, Miki pouts. "I hope Seven can make more then," she grumbles more towards herself, but remembering her promise, she tightens her tail's weave. "How do you feel, love?" "Nothing noticeable at the moment. I will assume it will take time to take effect. Or I was scammed. But even so, I still received a treat," Nodrin responds with an upbeat tone. "Now my part of our agreement. Let's find a blade vendor." Miki chitters in absolute glee, hugging Nodrin tightly. "I cherish you more than anything, dearest," she practically squeaks, before taking their hand and hurrying along to one vendor in particular that caught her eyes earlier. By the time they reach it, Nodrin feels immense regret. Well, can't say I've seen your kind in these parts before. Welcome," a gruff, slightly woolly Noxie introduces, as Miki dashes from side to side at the extensive bladed tools. "Yes, greetings. Much like blades. Like collect. Pretty designs," the female Grat responds, as she halts to eye the vendor excitedly. "Ah, so are you looking for just looks over practicality? I'm afraid I don't offer much in the line of gimmicky wall hangers," he cautions. "No, practical is pretty. Love craftsmanship," Miki assures. "I like art carving, utility and defense. You have any do all three good?" The Noxie places a mission on top of his head in thought. Well, normally I'd recommend an entire set of metallic blades that can counter to those things. But if you don't mind shedding a bit more credits, I do have this model of liquid crystal. The vendor grabs a bladeless handle from a display and holds it in a showcasing fashion to the Grat. Right here you can modify the blade shape that you desire. The length and thickness can also be modified. I'd say the max it can go length is around a standard foot. Very utilitarian, but it's going to require a bit of getting used to. Miki's fascination spikes as she looks closer at the magical item within the Noxie's mitten. To her, it might as well be a weapon of myth and legend. How much credits? She asks, already dead set on it. This will run you at 1,500 credits. Like I said, it's costly, but it's worth it. But no worries if it's out of your budget. I still have a fine selection to choose from. Mickey struggles a bit to navigate her lens to check their mutual available funds. Although they have plenty to spend, that chunk of money is still a significant bite out of it. Especially for one item. Nodrin, I would like your permission if that's alright. I won't purchase it if you think it's too much, she honestly says to her bondmate, who is blinking slowly as if a bit distracted by their own lids. It is a lot. But as you said, love, this is the time for us. If you desire it this much, I'm perfectly alright with it, they respond, still blinking oddly. Mickey brushes her head against Nodrin sweetly. I don't deserve a bondmate like you, my absolute cherish, she coos, before focusing back on the vendor. Yes, I'll purchase. Excellent. I'll extend the credit transfer and get this in a traveling case for you. After Mickey receives her fascinatingly magical blade, she farewells the vendor and turns to walk away. Now let's treat ourselves to some food, dearest. I think I smell something. She is stopped as her weaved tail goes taut with her bondmates. Looking back, she notices Nodrin staring up at a flickering hard light sign that has seen better days. Nodrin's 4 pupils are dilated to near orbs, as if witnessing the spirits themselves providing every divine secret of the past within the advertising sign. Dearest? Mickey says, as she returns closer to her bondmate. Love? She pokes a claw into their cheek, resulting in a line of drool escaping out of the corner of Nodrin's mouth. Uh-oh. Simone sits back with a hand on her gut. Well, I almost got stuck in the door coming in here, but at least they know how to make good grub, she says. Chuck looks to her, initially concerned. Oh, Simone? You're speaking in that language again, she gently notifies. Caught a bit off guard at first, Simone sighs and taps her forehead, as if kick-starting an old piece of machinery. What is it with food that gets me doing that? She grumbled. I'm talking normally again, right? Yes. Maybe it is closely linked to the other fragments in your mind, Chuck replies, before checking up on SJ, who is still working on their shreds of marinated shellfish meat. The child seems to at least have eating by themselves down, but was more than willing to allow Simone to feed them with utensil for some cute memory pictures. Though they still make a bit of a mess, so both parents have taken turns cleaning up both the Watar's face and surrounding area. That actually makes sense. When I was under, I saw that the lady in my head got it on with her personal cook. So, that also explains the sex cause in it too, Simone figures, then making sure to mumble the end bit. Oh, I see. Then it's safe to say that may be what triggers it, Chuck says. Things that link to strong memories? Yeah, but that would mean it could be anything that I'm not yet aware of, Simone points out with a shrug. Well, do you recall having any other visions that may give hints? Chuck asks. I'm not sure. Other than needing to find the station she died in, she's really adamant about that. Is she present at all? No, I don't think so. It's like background memories, feelings, and I guess a bit of instinct stuff. I talked to a part of her, but that was while under the effects of drugs, so I wouldn't really call that reliable, the redhead reveals. Ow, what did she say? Jack inquires, leaning forward onto the table. She said that she still had duties to finish, like she couldn't finish what she wanted to do. She succeeded partially. I mean, she's encoded into my brain, after all. Thanks, Mum. But, yeah, there's something she left unfinished. I'm guessing more data to send, which means something potentially very useful to us, Simone explains. I see. And you don't think, she's influencing you to do it? I mean, in a forceful way? Chuck says, clearly bothered. Don't think so. But I guess I wouldn't really know, Simone admits. Chuck's upper limbs cross together as her lowers reach out to press against the Terran's paws. I'm going to the end of this with you, Simone, but I must be honest. I'm scared of losing you. Scared of watching your mind fall apart right in front of me while I can't help. What if this is a plan of hers to bring herself back? Chuck confesses. Simone doesn't respond right away. Instead, she thinks of the best way to respond without sounding like a total ass. Carefully taking hold of the Callie's appendages, she sighs, deciding to just let the words happen. Chuck, remember what I said while you were laying yourself out to me in the spa? The best case scenario at the end of everything we are against is you watch me slowly age and wither. My mind and body is probably going to fall apart just like that anyway, she says, feeling like an asshole. But Chuck isn't fazed. Instead, she returns the grip. I know. But then we would have shared as much time as possible together. We would have made many, many more cherished memories together. A long, happy life is all I want for you. For us. I may not be ready when the time comes, but I would have no regrets. This threatens to take you away from us now. I need you here with me because I don't think I could do this without you. I need you in order to have our happiest ending. That's why I'm scared, she replies, eyes flicking in a low glow. Simone shakes her head with an endearing smile. Then I promise I'll be extra careful. No running off on my own without you there. And I suppose I can get you that fairy tale ending. I'll pull some real Terran Grey bullshit out of my ass to make it happen if I have to, she assures with a smirking wink. I'll hold you to that, Jack responds softly in a giggle. After several more hours pass by, the Quipchap crew reconvene at an agreed intersection, though there is a period of time that passes where the Grat have yet to show. What the hell is that? Simone chuckled, as the captain showed up with a long silken flowing cape of gold. An upgrade in presentation, bwahaha! The jolly Trumple replies, as his grasper lifts up a side to expose a completely animated triangular prism pattern underneath. Always wanted one as a spawnling, and I'm not getting any younger, ha. Simone shrugs, unable to argue with that, before looking at Vin and Seven. What about you two? Splurged on anything? She asks, eyeing the bags in Seven's grasp. Nothing special for me, but I thought this to be a perfect opportunity to purchase better cooking equipment for Seven. Equipment that feels better with his new graspers and such, Vin answers before patting the bot's side. Indeed. I am rather, excited to try these out, Seven adds. And what about you two? I see the little one has a new blanket, Chalknock says. Oh yes, we acquired the three of us cozy media night blankets, Chuck chirps. After a while longer waiting, an audible crash is heard down the way. Much apologies, Miki's voice rings out, right before she drags her bombmate around the corner. Nodrin is laying on the ground, lazily grabbing at anything within reach, madly cackling as if witnessing the most hilarious wonders of the universe. Dragging them with both her arms and weaved tail, Miki's already wild hair looks even more frazzled than usual. Seem to have been pulling her bombmate around for quite the while now, her four eyes light up in tremendous relief to set them upon the rest of the crew. Look, dearest, it's our friends. Come on, let's go to them. Come on, she guides tiredly. Feeling her tremendous conflicting feelings of amusement and concern, Simone patches in her comm to Thorn. Hey, I thought you said you guys were going to keep watch, she says. We have. It's been the most fucking hilarious thing we've ever seen, the chuckling old man responds. Don't worry, we're paying for the minor damages they caused. And we're setting something up too. Bring your gaggle back to the ship. Unsure how to feel about that, Simone decides to let it go, though not before rolling her eyes. She then starts moving towards the Grat couple to lend them aid in their time of need. Got into a bit of fun? She muses. Miki stops and lowers herself to then lift Nodrin into a semi-standing position. My fault. Told Nodrin to trade. They eat chocolate brown thing with drugs, she explains, before Nodrin gets a hold of her face, pulling and pushing her features. Cherished. You are akin to the watery veil between life and the echoes beyond. What secrets have you kept from me? Nodrin softly chitters in awe. Chocolate brown things? You mean brownies? They eat stoner brownies? Simone chuckled, watching Miki attempt to squirm her face free. Unable to properly answer, she digs her hand into her bombmate's satchel and tosses out the recipe pad for Simone to catch. Snapping it out of the air without problem, Simone activates it and begins to read it. Oh, damn. These are old lady stoner brownies, you poor fucking soul, the Terran says, barely restraining a laugh. What do? Miki says in a muffle. Write it out and sleep it off, Simone answers bluntly. Afraid you say that. With a tug, she finally gets her face free. My consequence. At least I buy thing before drug chocolate work. Oh yeah? What did you get? A knife, Nodrin proclaims, before holding up a handle that explodes out a golden crystal blade. Cherish, no! Miki scolds in panic, as she tackles her high lover to the ground and starts wrestling for her blade back. Thankfully, she swiftly reclaims it without anyone nor Nodrin getting hurt. The Nodrin's focus is now locked straight upward, completely enraptured by the lights and shadows that dance in the complex crevices above. That's the answer. I see it now. Motions that lace and layer in every direction, only existing by the absence or presence of the influences set upon them. We are nothing more than the imprint, the casted result of the unknowable domains that we will never understand. Always out of reach, never meant for the flesh or spirit to reside within. The Grab preaches aloud. Okay, let's get them back to the ship before they start seeing Cthulhu. And for the love of the stars, don't show them what's under the cap's cape. Carrying the Grat on her back, Simone is the first to step up and in the mostly repaired quick chap. Though they were informed that the repairs are near completion, there are final systems checks that need to be completed before the ship is allowed to depart. Hello? Simone calls out, knowing her Terran comrade should already be on board. Hello? Thorn replies with a smirk, as he stands at the upper railing. What's with the face, cowboy? Up to no good again? The redhead says, seeing Thorn clearly excited about something. Am I ever? He points out. Do I want to know? Yup. We all pitched in behind your back and got you a proper early wedding gifts, he reveals. Simone can't help but scoff. Not that I'm unappreciative, but guys, you've done plenty, she earnestly says. True. But after hearing about what you're up against, we had a little group meeting and... With a flicker of his glowing cyan eye, Thorn gives a wink. Chuck straightens up in surprise as she has sent something to her lens. Opening it, she finds a fully written out direct service mercenary contract, the asking wage price being nearly minimal. McCallie looks at Simone in shock. Simone, he just sent me a contract, specifically offering protective services for me and the entirety of the Quipchat crew, she notifies. You can't be serious, Simone utters, as she keeps her eyes on Thorn. Dead serious. Now, we'll still be dwelling on our own ship, but you will have a permanent escort gunship keeping the riffraff off your asses. And with our particular connections, we can share them with not only your, but the princess's rebel brother. A lot more mercenary outfits willing to reach out for his little growing fleet. And speaking of outfits, the man turns to wave over others from behind him. Wheeling up on pushcarts, Troy and Devin bring up 2 suits of modified power armor. Simone's old armor has a new orange and black paint job, but it is the brand new helmet that catches her attention first. If a cliché fantasy knight's helmet could be useful in the vacuum of space, this would be it. McCallie's power armor, on the other hand, had a much minor paint alteration, with the goal still being pronounced. Though the upgraded plating and brand new dark grey musculature enhancing undersuit is very clear. Hope you don't mind, Thorn presented. Don't worry, the lady's other particular undersuit hasn't been tossed. Feeling a bit embarrassed, yet impressed, Chuck starts to move up the stairs to get a closer look. Simone promptly following. Hey, hold your horses, I ain't done. Wish we had the budget for everyone, but... Thorn waved back again. For fuck's sake, guys, the redhead remarks. Pushing a final cart, Brandy exposes 2 matching power suits with a distinct Grat shape. Troy clearly had more freedom with these in the paint job department, because they are green and mean. Green base, copper and white highlights, with stylistic gnashing open goblinoid mouths under the visors. It's not until the crew gets closer that they can make out little angry eyebrows above the visors. Ferras! Mickey bellows in a lower mace tone, immediately scurrying up to see it face to face, twisting around, and then she makes an ungodly sound like a horribly painted dying animal. Tailblades! Nodrin looks over Simone's shoulder, staring at the power armor that's theirs as well, with wide unblinking eyes. I am become destruction, destroyer of stars, they utter, with a sincere profoundness. How natural how did you even pull this off so fast? Simone demands, still mentally catching up. Know a guy called ahead, Thorn answers. So, we got the contract or what? He adds, looking to Jack. McCallie in turn looks at Simone. I cannot fathom a reason to say no, but I like your opinion, Simone, she says. Biting at her cheek, Simone shrugs. This is going to be more dangerous and consequential than any job you've ever done. Are you all sure? She says, while scanning over all the other Terrans. Hell yeah, Troy immediately says with a fast thumbs up. It's not too difficult than my first calling, and I'm getting that very same feeling about it, Brandy assures. Devin remains silent. Devin? You really don't have to if it's not something you don't want to get dragged into, Simone makes clear. The man's gaze drops to the floor before he shrugs. I don't want another Jamie to happen. I've been seriously thinking of dropping out before it does, But this is important. Maybe more important than anything that anyone has ever done in this universe. I have to be here. Someone has to repair the shit that breaks, he says, ending with a slight acknowledging smile. Simone gives the group of idiots a hesitant but eternally grateful look before giving Chuck a nod. Then it will be an absolute pleasure to have you under our service. Thank you all, Bicali says, as she signs off on the contract. The standard day after the Quip Chat is allowed to depart, now accompanied by the Terra Merc vessel Bus Blunder, he receives a vital message. We believe to have found the location of the Menarian structure. It has found itself in the gravity well of an uncharted gas giant's moon. Thankfully, it hasn't crashed down on the surface. As agreed, we have not yet made our approach. Along with this message, we are sending you coordinates and one of our personal star charts to follow. We will meet you there. So, Chocolate Motaz, shall we inform the Bus Blunder and make course? Choknok inquires. Chuck gives a single nod before passing along the message to the rest of the crew. There's a small part of her that wishes that the message never came, to not launch into another unknown with Simone a potential risk. But truly, this is all out of her hands. She can only support her Terran into this venture, to find whatever answers or horrors await them. Dropping out of FTL, first seeing the glorious view of a purple gas giant planet, the Quip Chap is immediately connected via comm. Quip Chap, please confirm your identity and identify the vessel accompanying you. A Terran's voice comes through. Choknok clears his throat and opens his side of the call. This is Captain Choknok, sending you verification. We recently had a significant repair and have acquired an escort vessel. They are trusted and have no claim on the find, he responds. Acknowledged, beginning approach. Then, out from the darkness, and yet still unnoticed by any scanning hardware, a sleek, smaller vessel closes the distance and turns within visible view. We are disengaging our stealth systems. Follow us and we will guide you right to the wreckage. Please take note of gravitational forces in play. Acknowledged, lead the way. True to their word, the Seekers guide the two other ships towards a far-off ice-coated moon. When within range, a large mesh of a satellite is picked up on sensors. Both fully suited in their new armor, Simone and Chuck walk up to the bridge. We're here, the Terran mutters, feeling both excitement and fear. This is Thera. Despite my people's excitement, we have yet to embark within the structure. However, we have picked our micro levels of power still within the wreckage. Not enough to enable life support, but is promising. Nonetheless, we recommend that you have EVA capabilities. A trooper's voice comes through. Understood. We are already prepared to depart. As agreed, we will take what we hope to find and leave the rest for you to claim, Chuck replies. Excellent. In good faith, we will grant your team an hour after contact before we send ours. That is appreciated. We haven't forgotten our deal to ensure you obtain copies of any discovered data, Chuck says, before looking up to Simone. Ready? The Terran takes a moment to watch the moon, seeing a massive geyser fire out into space. You bet. Best of luck, Chuknuk salutes, before the two begin their trip to the shuttle. Simone, swing by and pick up Devon and me. With a glorified scrabby like that, you're gonna need us, Thorn patches in. Affirm, Simone replies, thankful that she didn't have to ask. Stepping on into their trusty shuttle, Chuck and Simone depart out into open space, make a quick run to pick up two more Terrans. After the addition is picked up in their noticeably less impressive armoured suits, the small vessel finally starts its trip towards the moon. Not every day we step into an ancient derelict station of some grand evil empire, Thorn notes, as the station comes into view. Welcome to my life for the past year or so, Simone replies. Keep that in mind if you ever find yourself saving the princess in some seedy bar. Heh, noted. Though that Menarian still would have been in that skull of yours regardless. I'd say it's fate that you were to live an insane life, the man points out. I guess so. The shuttle maneuvers itself up close to a harshly blown out section of the station. Then, after everyone triple checks their suit seals, the shuttle's interior decompresses, and doors silently slide open. Equipped with basic thrusters, the four slowly float out and navigate through the shredded armor plating. Careful, we don't want to get caught on anything, Devon speaks up, as they slip past jagged bits that get closer and closer together, single file. Taking the lead, Simone takes hold of a buffer wall segment, and pulls herself the rest of the way through and into a hallway. Scarily familiar hallway. It's like a sense of deja vu, but throw in some liminal mindfuckery. The near-mirror finish of the decorative walls are now harshly fogged by thousands of years' worth of micro-scratches, and the pearl colouring burned from scars long past. The floor itself is warped, and outside of her helmet's powerful light is pitch-eerie darkness. An inviting darkness. "Simone?" Jack says, noticing the redhead is all but frozen up. Jumping a bit, Simone lifts a thumbs up. "All good," she assures. "So, where are we going? I know I really ain't all that long," Thorn mentions as he and Devin file in. "Right," Simone says in thought. "Come on, you Manarian bitch, I'm here. Where do I—" She thinks to anything in her brain, but thankfully something answers. A gut feeling, an urgency, a fiery panic from the depths of her soul screaming at her to move, to search, to find. "This way," the redhead updates, her voice nearly catching in her throat. Floating down the hallway, she takes a turn and suddenly is like Simone Thatch, who has once spent many years here herself. It's all familiar, like returning to a childhood home. But there isn't any fond memories, just the rising blood pressure, as something causes her heart to kick up in blind panic. She takes a right, a straightaway, then a left, and through a broken door. She can't hear the others calling for her, as she starts to race ahead. She has to get there, she has to. It's the only thing that matters, it's... Her state breaks, seeing the long corridor of stasis pods. She has been here, in others' memories, in a nightmare, and now in person. She activates her magnetic grav boots and slowly walks forward. Up against the far wall are two muffled husks. Two Terrans, no, human bodies, huddled together in a final eternal embrace. By every right they shouldn't be here. They should have passed on with Earth's soil beneath their feet, but here they are, entombed among the stars in a place inconceivably foreign to them. Between them on the wall is a faint marking, two differing blood-stained handprints overlapping the other, marking that they were here, even though no one that they knew from their lives would ever see it. "Simone?" Jack's voice breaks through the redhead's mind fog. "Here," she responds. "Still here. Sorry. I know I promised I wouldn't do that, but she's panicking. Whatever is left of her is screaming at me right now." "It's okay. I kept up with you. I'm here." Simone can feel a slight pressure, as the Callie rests a grasper on her shoulder. "Are those what I think they are?" Thorn speaks up. Nodding, Simone points to the male. "This is Dov." She moves her head over to the female. "That's Nee. We're in the presence of the first of our kind to leave Earth. I think we ought to take them back." "Damn," Devin mutters, audibly disturbed by the revelations and implications. "We'll get it done, but that's not why we're here, is it?" Thorn reminds. Reaching out, Simone touches the side of Dov's hollow, frozen face. She knew this man. She lived his life for the briefest of time, and felt every feeling of his as if it were his own. In her mind, he lives on. Neither of them have been forgotten, despite the incredible passage of time. Also, it was him who technically killed her when experiencing the memories of Shara. Funny how that works out. "You did the best you could, Dov. Thank you, you glorious caveman bastard," Simone farewells, as she stands herself straight and looks to the left at a locked door. "Need me to get us through?" Devin offers. Simone shakes her head and looks right, where there's a blank wall. "I need you to get us through here. There's a hidden door," she notifies as she walks to it. Increasing her strength output, she smashed a fist violently, yet silently, at an invisible seam. Digging her hand down into it, she gradually forced open a cover to another door. Once again, something deep within her starts to push her, telling her to get inside. Nothing else matters. But she holds it at bay this time, allowing Devin to pass by her and ignite a plasma cutting torch to it. "The material is something else," he grumbles to everyone beside him, "but it's cutting." "What's in there?" Chuck asks after Simone. "I don't know yet, but it's more important than anything else here," the Terran says with absolute certainty. After some time, Devin's torch goes out and he nods back at Simone. "Your turn," he grunts. After he gets fully clear, Simone increases her strength output once more, and forcefully pushes the door inward, bending it enough to gain entry. She hurries inside and feels her blood run cold. There's two reinforced pods in this small hidden room, one with a familiar-faced Manarian husk, and the other. Hot tears rolling down her face, Simone rushes to the other pod and instinctively presses into a panel. It lights up. "The power held out! The power held out!" she shouts in raw emotion, both overwhelmingly good and bad. "For what? The pod?" Chuck says. What's in it? Hyperventilating, Simone navigates the panel, finding that, at the current stored power, the stasis pod only had another 50 or so standard years left. Although that would feel like a lot of time, a scream part within her can't believe how close it was for the passenger to perish. She is so lucky. So beyond lucky. Red? What's in it? Thorne repeats, seeing how manic the redhead is becoming. My son! The woman practically screams, before looking down into the pod's visible port, viewing a perfectly preserved Menarian toddler.